So, Battlefield 4 is finally here, and what are my impressions so far after playing through the campaign within a matter of hours, and then playing multiplayer pretty much non-stop for the last few days? Well, some mixed emotions from most people, and some mixed emotions from myself. Now, everyone probably will agree with me to a certain extent that this game kicks ass, generally when playing it, when you can actually play it. Now, there's been a lot of obviously launch date bugs, and fundamental flaws which have been coming out in the game's netcoding and things, which is making the game, for some people, unplayable. Now, some people, as we know, don't have the strongest internet. I mean, my internet isn't the strongest, although it's quite, I class my internet as fairly decent. And some people are just struggling to actually maintain a full game, or a series of games where they can level up, etc., etc., without disconnecting and without having the stupid problem of then losing all your XP halfway through a game. Now, this is especially relevant when we talk about long games such as maybe Conquest, maybe Rush, that people play for quite a while at a time. Maybe some Rush matches when the tickets are edited can last for goddamn hours. If you play through that and you've racked up 30k XP in points alone, and then all of a sudden, that emblem by the way, and all of a sudden you get disconnected or your game crashes or something, and you don't get the XP from that, it is so frustrating. Now, I've had it various times. Luckily, I have never been in the game thus far where I've been in it for about an hour and then finally got to the end and my system crashed, because that would be pretty tragic. But the game has its issues. But going back to the game in general, when you can actually play it, and for me that's been most of the time. I know some people suffer from these bugs and errors more than I do. Some people will say that they get it most matches. Me personally, I've only had it about 3 times. Actually, probably a bit more than 3 times, but generally, considering the fact how much I've played this game, that's not actually that much. So this game in general, the graphics pretty stunning. Battlefield 3 was quite a revolutionary title in graphics, and this kind of ups it a little bit, but it's not the same kind of Jesus Christ, the new graphics. It's an enhanced version of the last Frostbite engine, but it's still goddamn beautiful. Now, optimization in the game generally, I'm actually really quite impressed with. Optimization in the game, I'm running a 7870 overclocked, and I could probably push it a bit further, the overclock, to be fair, and an FX 8320 at 4 GHz overclock. Now, I can play this game on my PC at ultra settings, getting an average around 50 FPS. Now, that I've classed for a card which I bought all the way back then for about 170, or I think it was 170, and is now worth around 120, 140 at most. To be able to get that kind of FPS and play on this kind of settings, it's pretty staggering in my opinion. And it just proves at the moment where my card is in the optimization. Now, it does say on Steam, Origin, that my card is actually the recommended. So I can understand why I get decent FPS with my hardware, because in the moment I'm in that kind of really nice sweet spot for optimization for these titles that are coming out, which is good. And this card will probably stay around there for quite a while, considering the fact next gen and stuff, it will kind of be that kind of area where you can play it on decent settings. So it's kind of a safe bet to go for if you want to get a graphics card in the future, but you don't want to break the bank per se. But going back to the game in general for the last few minutes of this video, I want to make it relatively short, is that this game plays beautifully. I really enjoy the game. I like the maps in a way. Some people have commented that the maps are quite enclosed compared to what they were on Battlefield 3, and I agree with that. The more kind of shrunk down, close combat, action kind of maps. Some they have their spatial parts, where they're quite spaced out and stuff, a bit Caspian bordery, such as Langkang Dam, I think it is. I don't know how to say it, but that's got its like spacious bits. But generally speaking, the main maps are quite close quarters and intense. Now, the game mode I'm playing on this is actually Team Deathmatch. I jumped into this just to record some action gameplay. I did pretty well actually. If you've actually been paying attention to the gameplay, you would have found out. But I don't really do it when I listen to commentary, so I assume that you guys don't as well. But the game, I love the range of weapons. I think that the game has some minor balancing issues at the moment with some weapons, but generally speaking, they've done a pretty good job. To say it's launch, the actual game, when it's playable, is pretty good, and I do enjoy it a lot. And I will be set to bring you guys quite a bit of content probably on Battlefield 4. It's probably one of my games that I'll be playing up a lot until probably early next year to mid next year. Until the Division and things like that start coming out, the next gen, but next gen. There we go, that makes perfect sense. But that's the best I can. I'm really bad at English these days. But yeah, so until then, Battlefield 4 is going to be a big part of my channel. Leave a comment in the description of what you think about that. You know, do you think that Battlefield 4 is a title that you'd enjoy seeing? Because I enjoy playing it, but what do you enjoy seeing it is the question. So I'll speak to you guys in a bit. Thanks for watching all you Jelly Belly bros out there. It's been JellyBellyJoe here, and I'll speak to you guys later.